something there, you see.
I am restricted, fixed upon the web. I need to kick the habit that my mind is breathing in. Break out, I've got to see. Spent all my life holding all of it closely. I played it innocent, a feel of discontent. I'm finally facing it all, fearless.
Unfortunately, we didn't catch any fish, so we walk into some restaurant right now to get some drink.
Berada skies. Skies abang.
Yeah, where are we going? To Gambia, right?
Yeah.
Monkey Park.
Gambia. Monkey Park.
Yeah, the monkey park is quite cool. As you could see, the monkeys get very aggressive, especially the male ones who fight with each other for peanuts. But I really like it here. At the entry, there was some guy who was trying to like become our guide for 400 local currency, like 20 euro, which I don't think is necessary at all. So don't take it once you're here, because it's actually the same experience without guide, so it's totally not necessary. I actually like it more without guide because it's more peaceful. You have privacy and everything. Is it that it doesn't fall from head?
You see something there, you see.
I thought you have
yeah,
like
that's why
skills.
when I put it there, I leave it. You never falling down.
Ah, okay. I was always thinking how is
Maybe one day you try.
okay, thank you. Yeah, we arrived at some bar restaurant to eat some pizza. Greetings, Seka. Sitting on comfy couches, so it's cool. And drinking what? Fanta and Sprite. Cheers. Cans. Hello. 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 Seashells coming. Don't be shy, don't be shy. Look at Seka, how chilled. Okay. I'm in my accommodation right now. I came back from meeting with these guys you've seen on the video, and the electricity went off right now, so I couldn't take a shower or do anything. I'm just going to sleep because I'm gonna wake up very early to go to Slave's House Island to see the history, what happened here during colonization in 18th century. So yeah, I'm going to sleep and I'll wake up very early to sort everything out. I'm so tired that I can barely keep my eyes open, and I lost my sleeping mask, so I'm using just COVID face mask. Okay, see you tomorrow. Thank you. Also, my friend.
So the book and the film was titled Roots. So popular around the world, these two communities are called Roots, but they are two different villages.
Yeah.
Where we right now is called Albreda, and the next one where you come from,
The city is Albreda, yeah?
The other side where we're going to see the museum is called Jufre. So in the village Jufre, where that's where we have the family of Kunta Kinte, where we got the 8 generations. But these two villages are separate villages. This is headed by a man, and the next one is headed by a woman.
Okay.
And one of the reasons why here become popular was because of that movie of the Alexei and the book, and because it was the main heart of slavery in this country, the Gambia, where Europeans were living in the Gambia before slavery, during slavery, and after slavery, especially this particular village you are.
Okay.
One of the evidence is the island, because the major point of slavery in this country here. But this island has also got different places of slavery connected. One of them is the building you can see there. It looks very new, but it was one of those built in 1681 by the French people.
1681.
And it was one of the settlements, and the only settlement of the first and the only settlement today in the Gambia by the French people, which was called the CFA building, used by the French people as one of their residents, or the residence for their merchants in the Gambia. But it looks new because the UNESCO site was destroyed by water erosion and was rebuilt again in 2009 and 2010.
Was it rebuilt?
Exactly, because part of it was destroyed by water erosion. And this other one here, like I told you, part of it were before slavery, during slavery, and after slavery. Where we got this flag there, inside there is a cannon. This place was built by the British in the Gambia 1810. And the reason for that was because after so many years of slavery and millions of lives were taken, the British finally had to come to the coast of Africa to fight against slavery to get it stopped. So coming to the Gambia to stop slavery in the Gambian River, because that island they were using to keep slaves before they take them. That wherever one come from the globe, or you come from the world, so your color does not matter, your religion also doesn't matter, as long as we are all human beings. So we have the sign of freedom.
Yeah, I see. Never again.
I bet. So the Gambia is very wide this way, and it's long and narrow. The more you go inside, it's narrowed inside. And then the River Gambia also got two sides of water. You have the salt water and you got fresh water. All this side is salt water, but further inland, about 300 kilometers, you start having fresh water.
Ah, okay, so here it's fresh or...
But right now, here is 50-50.
50-50.
Because of the rainwater.
This is the boat we're gonna take to the island. Our captain's already there.
Careful. Careful.
Thank you.
Stop, please. Come there. Come stop here and come forward. Yes.
Here?
Yeah, no, stop here. No, stop here. Stop here.
Okay, thank you.
All right, come over here.
Yeah, we arrived at the island already. It's quite small because the tide is low.
Once we walk, because of the cloud, it's very clear. Once we walk while we're talking. So
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't stay because I know we don't have like the raincoats, so it was there.
Yeah, yeah.
So you already know. So you're welcome to Kunta Kinte Island.
Okay.
Today the island came to Kunta Kinte Island from the 6th of February 2011. It is named after Kunta Kinte because Kunta Kinte was one of the victims in the Gambia who was captured in slavery and was brought to this island here, and from there to America where he was sold. And then his 7 generations were the first people, African Americans, who were able to come back home in Africa to find their roots. So that's why, to keep his legacy, the island was given to his name, Kunta Kinte Island. But this island was first been occupied by Portuguese in 1450 because they came to Africa as explorers.
Yeah.
And during those days, they were finding a way from the Gambia River, from knowing that the river was very navigable. So they want to go to the other part of Africa, which was not possible. This is why you see the island of the River Gambia, how it looks like. This is Banjul, this is where you cross the Barra, and you travel to the village here where we just
Yeah, we're here.
Now we are here. So this part here, this is the southern part of the Gambia, this is the other side of the
So
Gambia.
Kunta Kinte is the slave, the brave slave.
And there was one slave who died in slavery and was taken from this particular small community here and was brought to this island here, where his 7 generations were forced to come back home in Africa to trace back their roots to research.
Yeah.
So, but the island itself first was occupied by Portuguese, like I told you, in 1450 because they were early explorers. And eventually they had to come and live on this island here. But during the course of their stay here, in 1456, sadly one of their sailors died here by the name Andrew. They named the island after Andrew's Island. And this island, actually, this is how everything looks like. But like I told you, the Portuguese were forced to be in here. So after the occupation and calling the island Andrews Island, after later another country called Poland, which is the modern country today called Latvia, modern Latvia.
Latvia, yeah.
One of the Duke of Poland was able to acquire the island, and the fort was built by the Latvians in 1651. But because Latvia was a small country, unfortunately along the way they lost the fort to what when they were involved. The rock you can see here is called laterite rock. And the right one you can see is a firestone, which is one of the foreign materials.
Isn't it brick?
This is laterite rock, and this other one is a firestone brought by slave masters. On the slave ships has a ballast.
Okay.
So anytime they come and use them in construction. So this white one that bind them together is called mortar from the cells of the oysters. Things were brought in.
So people were brought here.
People were brought
It's like
in.
a prison, right?
The prison is the worst prison one can ever see on the fort. There were 4 of these types, but the rest were destroyed because of various structures are very old and various factors. So these were meant for keeping people like Kunta Kinte, who are very, very strong,
Okay.
who they call the aggressive ones, because these are people who revolted, who resist for them to be taken into slavery. So because the masters, they realize that any time they bring slaves on the fort here, right?
Yeah.
Anytime they bring the slave on the fort here, before they take them away, many died, and these stronger ones were causing more trouble because when they're taking them along the way on the ships, 33% of slaves died. And the main reason was that because of rebellion from these stronger slaves who wanted to fight because they didn't want to go to the unknown war, so they better die. So that would cause a huge loss. So the only thing they can do is to bring those strong ones here, give them little amount of food daily, and everything, punish them physically and mentally, so they become weak at the end of the day. So when they have to take them away, they would have no strength to cause any cause of threat.
Yeah.
For causing that large number. So this was meant for only keeping 10 people, but it goes beyond
So
that.
10 people in this room?
Yes. So
were
it
they
goes-
fighting together?
It goes beyond that because certain time there was no space to put the rest of the slaves, especially for those who have to come from the other part of the country. So if that happens, this becomes a moment of what we call overloading.
Yeah.
Overloading for the purpose of replacement of those who might die, so there was no space anymore. This is happening from here, and even on the journey when overloading was happening. So it's because it's like parking them like sardines or business goods, but that was like human healthcare, humanitarian grounds. The rules were not the rules of the day in those days. It's a matter of business goods, parking them together like that. So here we are. You can see what the reason all these fights were happening here by various countries. You can see we are close to the south of the Gambia now.
Yeah.
And this is the way taken to the end of the country, so where you got another part of the country where they get slaves in that part there, keep them there after being. And this was the original entry point where the harbor was located. This is where we have the main slave yard, where the small local house were built here for in case there are too many slaves that they have to get the women slaves to pregnant one to breed to them, put them here for comfort reason because they're economically important. And there, the small round circle you can see there, there was a place where they brand them. You know, brand is to mark them because a lot of them died along the way. And they said it was difficult with them to identify black people so that one will know who belongs to you, who belongs to X. But when they had been branded, they didn't know because they said black people, everybody was looking the same. And from the map that we show, that's where the kitchen was located down at the water side there. And this one here, that's one of the oldest cannon we have when they fought here, brought by the French people there.
So who they had to defend?
Like the British were here, like I told you.
Yeah.
7 times they attacked the French, attacked the British here. 7 times the fort was been destroyed and rebuilt.
Okay,
So
so who attacked the British
The
colony?
French attacked
French.
the British people. And then when the Latvians were also here, they also went the same thing. And the Spanish also attacked the same things. So there was
okay,
so many
so
power struggles
everybody,
just
yeah.
for the occupation of this particular island because of the interest and the business. So this become one of the oldest cannon known to be on the fort here. But of course, we have too many cannons still underwater that are lying there. But the cannons on the surface, on the island here, it's the oldest cannon brought by the French people here.
So this is the oldest one, yeah?
The oldest cannon.
The oldest cannon brought by the British here.
In the 17th century, after the submersion.
How old is it?
This is more than 300 years.
Okay.
It's more than 300 years here since.
What about that one?
And that one is the last one that came to the fort here because that was brought in the 18th century after
Okay.
the British came back to Gambia to reinforce abolition slavery. When they first lived in the village there, where I showed the cannon there, but because they feel it wasn't a better place to stop slavery, so they have to move, settle on the island again. So when they come to the island here, there was the cannon they brought here last to defend the Gambia River from slavery. So it became the last cannon for the use of abolition. Like the fort was used for slavery, at the same time was used for the abolition of slavery. That makes it very unique in Africa, because many parts of African places were used for slavery, but they were not used in the battle against abolition slavery. some of the factors. And now because the buildings also become very old, become natural reasons, and the continuous rising of the sea level also cause a lot of decay, and the wind coming from the sea also make the wall decay.
Is the wall original, or
These are all
the
only place is not original one. This where some of the new conservation work.
Yeah.
In 2010, this where only conservation work conducted here. But all the other ones you can see is all original.
Yeah.
Also defending the Gambia River from illegal slavery now, but they want to fight against slavery company. That's why it's written by some district.
So when was it finished, the slavery?
Slavery finished in different parts of the world, because in Britain,
What about here in Gambia?
the Gambia one will say in the later part of 18th century.
Okay.
The first arrived here to abolish slavery 1810, and they finally have to leave here, go to Banjul in 1830. So it went up to the mid towards the later part of the 18th century. The slave was finally, but in different part of the other kingdoms like the French and other places, they went gradually to follow before they get up succeeded after slavery.
Yeah, we're about to finish the tour. It was very interesting. The storm is coming, so we need to leave quickly because there's gonna be a pouring rain soon. Look at the cloud, it's coming closer and closer, so we're leaving right now, unfortunately. Cool, let's go.
Now there is only the surroundings here. Take it easy, please, take it easy.
This is crazy. Yes, so as you see, we go into the museum.
How Africa used to be in various kingdoms, and these kingdoms, this is how Africa used to be in the early 18th century, how Africa lived in those beautiful kingdoms that get divided because they were pawns. We've been used in dividing us by getting our kings into tribal wars and stuff like it, getting our kingdoms divided, getting our prisoners for the purpose of slave trade. And this is some of the instruments I also was telling about. These are some of the instruments we're talking, we're whipping, putting them on their legs, and this the people want to use them for identity, like I told you, because the larger number of died on the way, so they wouldn't distinguish or know who belongs to Y or X, so they have to brand them for them to identify purposes. Okay?
Okay.
Also, when so in the life of the slave in the plantations, how they become victims, how they didn't want, how they been
So
used.
it's in
And
US?
various ways of punishment, because I was no more than human, like I told you that, there was no human rights consideration to health implications, stuff like, so they were just been brought because the slave have no right to complain, or to ask for overwork and stuff like that. And this is the way of marketing slaves, how one can look at advertisements, look at the slave, the quality of slave you wanted, you know, be that being a man, a woman, whatsoever.
What was the price for them?
The price depends. Sometimes they will tell you, slaves can be in those days like 4,000 cowries, like here.
4,000 what? What currency?
Cowries, not only currency in those days. This way some. Iron bars, slaves were in bars for some of those things. Cowries and iron bars.
Shells.
Yes.
Whoa, why was it so precious?
Anyway, you know, say one, you didn't know.
Okay.
So, but then these are the iron bars that have been torn into bangles and rings like those things, you know. But even today, if you tell me a goal to king it for my son, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, of course.
But in those days, maybe I don't know, for whatever reasons, they were in mastermind.
Yeah, they didn't have money back then.
Gunpowder, and this one is a book that was kind of in taking records of people who had been free from slavery. You know, when slavery was abolished in Britain, they were repatriated slaves back to a country called the Province of Freedom, which is now called Freetown, where they bring them to settlement. So this is just one out of those books. They were recording their names of people who have been repatriated back to Freetown.
Okay. And how old is this book?
This book since 18th century.
18th century, yeah, very old.
Very
it's
old.
original or it's...
Original.
Okay.
No, they don't have been original books.
Wow, excellent.
These are
So
all
it's-
original references. So, and that's the new generation that is people our people of African and American descendants who ancestors were big victims of slavery in one way or the other. People like Martin Luther King, George Padmore, Condoleezza Rice, Benjamin.
What are these people? What is it
These
about?
are all African American. This is the biggest black. So you know the generational king in American development, how blacks from the days of slavery, he became the richest black woman in America. And then since the first black woman to go into space, the first postcard
Okay,
command.
first black woman going to space.
Yes.
What about this one?
The first black postman commander and the first black trained soldier in America. And she's one of the first women to be Colonel Rice, the first black civilian.
This one is a
So they have all like slave descendants, right?
Postcard. And that's the first woman to go into space. And this one here, more special. This is the author of that popular book, Alex Haley.
Alex Haley.
He was the seventh generation of the man called Kunta Kinte, who was taken from this country and the Gambia.
Seventh
as a
generation.
slave. And then when this man made it reside for 12 years, coming to this country, Gambia, she is one of the women he met in 1967 for the fourth time.
What did she do?
She is the seventh generation, Kunta Kinte, when he was taken to slavery, he led 3 brothers in the Gambia. One was Lamin, Suwaibu, and Madi.
Yeah.
So Kunta, in America, this man became his 7th generation.
7th generation.
So his 3 brothers left in the Gambia, this woman became the 7th generation. So these are 2 distant cousins. So when this man came to this country, Gambia, that's the family he met in the village here in 1967. So the old woman there is the one behind the old man, and this old man in the white was one of the historians who told this man the story of his family. Look, like I told you, the Mandingos were all from Mali Empire. But after the empire collapses, Kunta's grandfather came to Mauritania to study Islam. From Mauritania, he came to the Gambia to come and live down in the village here, where he got married. He had a son called Amaro Kinte, who was the father of Kunta Kinte. He also got married, and there he had 4 sons. And the eldest son was Kunta, who was born 1750, and later kidnapped in slavery at the age of 17, came to the island, from there to America, where he was sold in Annapolis. So where they call him Toby, but he has never accepted that name. He said he's Kunta Kinte, who is coming from Cameroon. And he tried many times to escape, and one time they amputated him, they cut his toe. So later he got married to a lady called Belle. They got one daughter called Kissy, and this daughter Kissy later sold on the plantation where she got raped. They have a son called George, who was named Chicken George. So the family grew in America till he becomes 7th generation. But according to him, because when he was a little boy, they would tell him the stories of his family, where he come, how they were grandparents, where did they come from, the Cameroon, and how they get to America, and many other things. So he was able to gather those information, make research when he finished school for 12 years before he was coming to the Gambia to come and meet his family. So when he met his family here in 1967, he went back to America. In 1972 was the second year he came back to come and finally get the movie and everything, start from the village here and get the story from the old man. In 1976, this book titled Roots, and the film was able to come out, and there he became the first African American to trace his roots.
Okay. Wow. Very interesting.
Let's see the other side.
So yeah, there's a book of people who came here and signed it. So there's a lot of Germany, Spain, US, Netherlands, people from Scandinavia. Yeah, I don't see any Poland. UK, yeah.
The first Poland.
Anna, Tomek, Kacperek i Sebastian.
One is here.
Gabriela i Tomasz Klat.
One is here.
Oh, yeah, you have quite a few, yeah. But in the old book.
In the old book,
Because this is 2022?
yes,
This
when
is
it is, yes, when COVID hit, a lot of police were not coming.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Poland again. Yeah, this was Susanna. Sure. Good.
Gambia is the best place for him.
Yeah, we walk into our new apartment right now. Oh, there's a
White
cow
House.
here. It's a lot of cows. Yeah, okay, cool. So we did some shopping, right? Yeah, dinner.
Yeah.
Walk into apartment now.
A bit rainy.
Yeah, rainy, but we waterproof.
Yeah.
Waterproof people. Okay.